Water is one of the Flat Earth movement's biggest issues. From pouring out buckets onto a basketball to trying to explain the horizon, Flat Earthers just can't seem to understand water. In the video today, we're going to look at one such example of misunderstanding. Enjoy! Also, like, share and subscribe and comment, or else. Okay, so I've trimmed this down from 40 seconds, but you can see what sort of video this is going to be.
Level-Headed Productions welcomes you to another video from our March 2020 Utah Lake Curvature Experiment.
Another video? This is the only video you've got up on YouTube.
But first, before we get to that, let's establish something in heliocentrism, the globe model. A fundamental fact, which is that all water is curved on the globe model.
That's an interesting screen grab from Google. Why did you cut the rest of it out? Was it because the answer you see is from QRA and was asked by a flat earther? Here is a full response and the QRA post that it's linked to. Now, I don't want to disparage QRA and their very well informed and factual database, but, well, it isn't remotely factual or well informed.
It has to, because it has to do 360 degrees back around to itself. It has to create a sphere, and it has to be water still. So all water must be curved.
I just want to point out that in the video portion of what you're showing, it is known that images of the Earth are composites, a series of images stitched together to form a complete picture. Of course, a person stitching it together will edit the clouds to look more natural, so they take the most complete cloud from the composite and copy and paste. There is no camera that can take a full photo of the Earth in detail at the distance shown. The images are edited to look more natural. Anyway, back to the water.
As you can see, when you ask Google, does water curve? They'll tell you right here. The surface of all water is curved. Even a small lake surface follows the curvature of the Earth. So what is the curvature of the Earth? Or what I should say is, what is the mainstream supposed curvature of the Earth? What is the curvature that they tell us?
Well, it's not supposed, and it has been proven time and time again. At least you didn't obscure your results this time around. However, this is a reference from a photographer, and he is explaining the heights needed for taking excellent photographs. On a side note, I highly recommend checking out his page as he takes some really stunning images.
Well, we can see here, it says that Earth has a radius of approximately 4,000 miles. So using the Pythagorean theorem, we can see that the average curvature is about 8 inches per mile squared.
Or you could use this handy dandy tool that'll do all the pesky math for you and display it in proper terms.
What a lot of people don't realize is that this is a geometric object.
Circles and spheres are geometry? What sorcery is this? Of course people know it's a geometric shape. They simply don't put as much thought into it as you folks. Even your bizarre Discworld concept is a geometric shape.
We can measure and test it at 25,000 miles around, or 4,000 mile radius. This is testable.
It sure is, and has been tested time and time again, with all results pointing to a globe. And now, with us being able to go into space, we can see it, clear as day.
And we can be extremely accurate within 500 miles. Now, there are things like mirror lines and haze lines that people need to be educated on that can mess with your experiments.
Well, no. Mirror lines are something Floathers made up to try and help support their claims. What we are looking at here is known as a fatamorgana, a type of mirage, or even more simply, an optical illusion.
But these can be overcome just by educating yourself and experimenting and learning how they act and how they work. Usually, cool, humid, and cloudy conditions. Very normal conditions is what you want, with no extremes of anything. Because when you get things like extreme heat or extreme dryness, then these layers over water get very exaggerated. And with the naked eye, when standing on the beach, appears to make things look like they disappear from the bottom up.
This also happens on overcast and rainy days. They don't disappear from the bottom up, but more give the illusion of sinking down as they go over the horizon. Even if you were to use a super mega power telescope, no matter how much you zoom in, you will never see the boat once it goes beyond the horizon.
It's extremely important to notice that the sky starts to cover up the bottom of the boat. That's because the closer you get to the water, the thicker the atmosphere becomes.
Well, you're partially right, but still mostly wrong. Again, optical illusion.
Which is why the very bottom of the mirror line has just become sky now, while the upper half of the mirror line still reflects. But as the boat continues to go further, that mirror line will get thicker and thicker, working bottom up. So the sky will work its way up from the bottom of the boat.
You see this image? This is a mirage in the Mojave Desert. If the Earth were flat, the oceans would look similar, and we'd also be able to see the other continents in the distance, similar to the way these mountains in the distance can be seen. In not a single one of the floaters' attempt to show this on a horizon, we have never, ever seen anything like this.
While at the same time, the dimensions of the boat, the size of the boat, remains the exact same over the water the whole time.
That bottom line is way different than all the others. Now, I don't know any fancy editing tricks to show how these lines are different, but I'm pretty sure they are.
This is proof the objects go behind a thickening atmosphere, not Earth curve.
Pretty weak argument you got there, Flatboy. What else you got?
And with equipment like the P1000, we can now test this thoroughly. The battle for long-distance viewing is not Earth curve, it's atmosphere.
Did he say P1000? Oh shit, the floaters have a Terminator. Guys, abort mission, abort. Hang on, wait. No, that's a T1000, isn't it? God damn it, he had me worried there. Okay, so he's referencing the Nikon Coolpix P1000 digital camera. I don't know if that was some sort of flex or not. I know nothing about cameras.
Now the ocean can also throw other curveballs like tide and ocean swell, which is why we chose to use a lake. Alright, we've talked about haze conditions and mirror lines. We've established that the mainstream says all water is curved. In the supposed ball earth dimensions, we know what those are. So let's go out and test it. I did it for you, so let's go watch.
Ooh, finally, a floater experiment. To Bed Bath and Beyond, I say. But we'll see that next time. His experiment will continue in part 2, so tune in next time for that. I still fail to understand what is to be gained from anyone saying the Earth is a globe if it were really flat. If any floater out there is watching can tell me, that'd be great. Also, can you tell me who the they are you guys keep referring to? Thank you all so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up and smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. As always, a special thanks to my high-level patrons, Purple Haze and Ghostface, for their support. You can support the channel by simply liking, sharing and leaving a comment. You can also join the Patreon and get rewarded. Buy some merch to improve your street cred, or post whatever you want over at the subreddit for some internet clout. Until next time, friends, don't be a dick. Good night.